Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are going to go after everybody on the main roster on WWE, all the women, and we're going to rate them on how good of a year. Obviously, S tier being the greatest, D being not so great. So we'll start off with Alba Fire. She's had some solid showings and matches and stuff like that, but her and the Secret Service just kind of always been kind of enhancement. So I want to put them down in D. Unfortunately, Alba Fire is a really good wrestler and really is slept on. She needs to be higher and kind of out of this. I mean, I know they kind of threw her in here to kind of keep her job, but I think she needs to turn on Chelsea Green very soon and do some work. I think she could really make a run for that US title and do something with it that hopefully would be similar to like the Open Challenge or something like that. I think it would be great. Alexa Bliss coming back full time. It's been like her first full time year. Had the tag team titles, went done a bunch of PLEs, bunch of different matches, war games. Everything's been pretty solid for her. I'll put her in a solid A. I really think she, other than being like around the big title picture, she really can't complain about anything else. AJ Lee coming back. Obviously, only has had two matches since then. Two PLE matches though, so it's kind of still insane. Had a couple TV appearances. We don't really know exactly what her deal is. Of like, is she only going to be here for a few things? But I enjoy it. I don't think she's the best wrestler that we've ever seen in the ring, but I think her mic skills are really good, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do next. So I'll put it up in B. I do think it's probably going to be a WrestleMania match against Becky Lynch. I could possibly see her being in a feud with Nikki Bella or something. Next up is Asuka, current tag team champ, has been around big hot storylines, always just kind of really solid. She was injured for majority of the year, unfortunately, but I think for the part of the year that she's been around, she's done some really good work. So I'm gonna put her in B also. Next up is BFAB. Other than just kind of having matches and just kind of being the default person to get beaten the hell up on SmackDown, there really hasn't been much for her, and it's kind of sucks because she's actually taken a lot of steps to be better in the ring. So hopefully, maybe another, having another year under her belt, she'll be able to take to the next steps. But I'm gonna have to put her down D for the time being. Next up is Bailey. Bailey's just given away way too much this year. Like she should have been at WrestleMania. They took that spot away. She's at other spots, and they kind of just don't know what to do with her. But she's had just so much stuff to give to the organization and the ability to do more that they need to give her something. I really thought the IC title was that going to be that thing. It never happened, and she's kind of just stuck in the limbo. Maybe it'll be the tag team titles, but even then, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to put her up in B. I think solid year, but I do think that she deserves better. Becky Lynch, who had the IC title for the majority of the summer, had a good feud with Lyra Valkyrie, and now she's kind of feuding with Maxine Dupree, which isn't as good, but at least she's had some pretty good screen time. She's had some good matches. I'm glad to see Becky here. I'll put her in A. Bianca Belair probably had the match of the year at WrestleMania and then got hurt, and then nothing else after that. Not really her fault. I'm going to put Bianca in C. It just kind of sucks for her injury, but that's the only reason why I'd put it there. But she's still, in my brain, has one of the top three matches of the entire year, so that's that's still pretty great. Next up is Candice LeRae. She had a big showing when she was partners with Nia Jax. She would be in like a lot of matches where she would either have a tag match or other stuff. So she was getting a lot of screen time, but then they kind of stopped that. And then with having her back with DIY just kind of being in the back, she did take that nasty bump during that tables, ladders, and chairs match that everybody remembered, and it was crazy to see. So I guess there's at least that, but I don't think that's more to get you out of D. Charlotte Flair, I'll put her right next to her tag team partner. Great year. Obviously not in the title picture other than at WrestleMania when she faced Tiffany Stratton. Other than that, she really hasn't had any other fan else, but she's so really close to what I would say is almost a perfect year. Obviously winning titles, obviously having PLD matches, all that good stuff. So you can't really complain too much about it. Next up is Chelsea Green. Had two title reigns this year for the U.S. title. Both of them have been kind of mid. I don't really know. I like Chelsea Green. They just don't let her do anything with this title. So I'll put it in B just because of the title reigns, but I don't know. Julie had a great year at the start of the year being in NXT. If it was just the NXT side of things, I could probably put this in S tier. But her main roster, she didn't do a lot of stuff. Obviously, got the U.S. title, and they just didn't let her do anything with that. It's kind of dumb. I'll have to put it in C. I absolutely hate it because I love Julia. She's one of my favorite wrestlers on the entire roster, and this pains me to put her in C. Ivy Nile, kind of similar. Just really didn't use her in much things. Kind of just every once in a while, dust drop, put her out there to get beaten up, and just recently, that's what it was for the IC title. So I'll put it down in D. Io Sky, I think, obviously needs to be an S tier. One of the hottest storylines with her and Rhea. She's in probably the two best women matches of the year, with being in the triple threat with Rhea and Bianca Belair, and then having the match with Rhea at Evolution was great. Also with adding Naomi down at what was that SummerSlam. Like all those matches have been great. Everything that she's done has been great. Her match against Mayu at Marigold's event was great. So I don't think you can put her less than S. Jade Cargill is just been kind of a meh type champion. They've given her absolutely nothing. All of her good storyline was her going after, Naomi at the beginning of the year, and that just injury and different things just never panned out to finishing that story. So I'll put it down and see. Kairi Sane's been on a lot of TV this year. She's had a pretty solid year. I'll put her next to Asuka. I think it's fair to say. James, other than coming back now as kind of a manager, I really can't say much. She's only really kind of got just beaten down, so I'm just gonna put her down in D. Lash Legend just getting the call up is great. I think I'll put her in C. She hasn't had much to show in the main roster, but she's still, even though she just got to the main roster, kind of still has a better resume than some of the D people, which is kind of insane. Liv Morgan had a lot of injuries this year, but she was just all over the place of being towards the main event scene before that, and I think she will assume that position next year. I'll put her in B just because of the injury, unfortunately. Lyra Valkyrie had just a great IC title run. They didn't really know what to do with her at first with that, but I think she really hit her groove during the summer. She's been in and out of storylines and matches and stuff on TV. So I think I'd put her in a solid B, but she's probably like one of the best of the Bs. Next up is Maxine Dupree. She won her first title. The rest of it's been absolutely garbage. I'm gonna have to put it down in D. Meacham, at least she's been on TV, had some decent feuds. I think I'd put her in C, just a little bit above everybody else, because at least she's had some good showings, had some good matches. I don't think they'll ever pull the trigger on her to win anything, unfortunately. Just kind of the sucky part. Next up is Naomi. Naomi is obviously an S tier, winning the Money in the Bank, had great stuff. Obviously got pregnant, so a lot of her year got kind of flipped upside down. But she had the perfect year before that, being in a hot feud, winning Money in the Bank, successful cash in, getting the title. All of that stuff would just make a great year, even though it was only about half the year because the rest of it she's been out. Next up is Natalia. Not really used anything really in WWE. Most of her great matches this year have been outside of the organization, which isn't bad for her, but for WWE standards, I have to put it down in D. Next up is Nia Jax. Honestly, has had a better year. I would say she's had some really good matches compared to what she's been doing. I wouldn't say like they're great matches compared to everybody else, but for her, they've been really good. The two matches that she had down in NXT, um, I thought were phenomenal. Whatever they let her do down there, they should have just let her do on the main roster. I'll put it up in B. Next up is Nikki Bella. Even though she's came back and had some decent feuds and different stuff, she's just looked really bad in the ring. I'll put her in C for being like part of the big storyline and doing stuff, but it really needs to change, or they just don't need to be giving her any type of title. Nikki Cross, other than being with the Wyatt Six, she hasn't done anything. I don't really know what the point of her in that group is, to be honest. So I'll put her down in D. Raquel Rodriguez, kind of bouncing all over the place. Obviously, the tag team champs, done different stuff, been part of the storyline with her and Judgment Day. I really feel like there was going to be a better payout than they ended up doing. Obviously, I think Liv is kind of like a little bit peeved about what they were doing when she was gone. I think that will lead to her, maybe having a good feud with Raquel, but I don't know if I'd put it more than a B. Next up is Rhea Ripley. It's honestly been an up and down year. She won the title at the beginning of the year, lost it before WrestleMania, had just great matches at WrestleMania, Evolution, SummerSlam, all of that type of stuff to lead to, having a great on-screen relationship with Io, and that tag team is blossoming, maybe even winning the tag team titles at Netflix debut. But she hasn't, had anything too crazy when it comes to like the title picture since the beginning of the year. I still think I should put her in A or S tier. I think she's just really done stuff and been on TV a lot more than recent years, even when she's been champion. Uh, Roxanne Perez, uh, a lot of people might not like this pick, but I think she's an S tier person. She's been on TV so constant, even if she's taking L's, she's out there doing great work to prove that she's having one of the best rookie years of all time. Obviously, got the tag team titles. She really should be considered for the person who takes the belt off of Maxine Dupree. I don't think people are looking at that, but it should be. Next up is Stephanie McClure. I don't think her title reigns really had much of anything. They've given her no bite to it, so it's kind of sucked. If you add the stuff that she did in NXT, she obviously was S tier down there. So I'm gonna put her in A. I think winning the title is still crazy, and I'm hoping that they rebound her and let her do some stuff. Tiffany Stratton pretty much was undefeated the entire year until she lost to Stephanie McClure, so I'm gonna have to put her up in S tier. She just recently lost the title not that long ago, so I think all of it screams really good stuff. Zelina Vega, other than winning the U.S. title, there wasn't much else, so I'll put it down to C. And Zoe Stark was hurt. So, yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.